socially accepted, you are not looking to feel and sense what is true. So you have no sense of what is true. Do y'all hear the point that I'm making? This is deep. They're seeking social acceptance and reading information. They don't really want to know, is it true? I was at Barack Obama's house the other day. You know, they said he's going to be here for a few days, you know, in Hyde Park. And I was coming from Hyde Park, and I end up going down 51st Street. I always go down 51st Street to get to Cottage. His house is somewhere on 51st Street. So I'm walking down that street, and the police get out the car. The Secret Service and all of them jump out the car. Where you going? Give me your ID. I said, I don't have no ID. I don't need no goddamn ID. And you can't hold me long enough to prove it. I don't have no ID. He said, okay, well, you should start to look on his face. All right, okay. Where you going? It's like, I'm going to Cottage Grove. He said, well, okay, you're going to have to go around that other way because you can't go down. I said, that's fine. But had I not been clear on who I was, he could have developed that into, since you don't have any ID, we can investigate you and make more out of this. You understand the point I'm making? And bring you down to the station because everybody has to have an ID. Y'all hear the point that I'm making? It's illegal to not have an ID. You don't have an ID. I always tell them I don't have a goddamn ID. Literally, I don't need an ID. And that's not something that I read. That's something that I know. A squirrel don't have an ID. Hurricane Katrina did not have any identification. Nature identifies itself by what it is, but it is self-evident. Nature is self-evident. The European needs to be identified because he don't exist outside of identification. Because he's not natural, once again. He needs an identification to exist. We are self-evident beings. He don't feel like he even exists unless he have an ID. And he can't see anything else unless it fits within his identification structure, which is only allowed for him to exist. Y'all hear the point I'm making? So that European backed up off me so quick. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Now the other brother that we had known had went and he never breached security, according to what the paper said. But he was arrested and he's still in jail right now for being around Barack Obama's house. He was in the same situation I was in that night, but he didn't stand in the same way. Because he never breached security, but he was not enough secure in who he was and how he projected himself. You understand the point I'm making? To back the devils up off of him. So they turned his insecurity into maximum security. Y'all hear the point I'm making?
What was that?
They turned his state of insecurity into maximum security. Because they're willing to secure everything that is insecure. That's their job. Isn't that a job of a security guard? A job of a security officer is to secure the insecure. I'm totally secure about who I am. You have no work here. Take a break. So if we're not totally secure about who we are, talking about something we read in social acceptance, we're going downhill. We have to become totally secure within our consciousness in order to stand against this devil in this society. If we don't reach a state of absolute security, we ain't gonna make it. We have to become totally and absolutely secure within our mindsets. But we can't become secure because we're secure with all the things of his society. We're secure with all of his stuff. So we have no security in and of ourselves. We're secure with Disney World. Y'all know what I'm saying? When I was able to live off the earth, the raw, bare earth, just me living out there showed me that the planet was mine. The very ground that I laid on said, I'm yours. There was communication between me and the soil that I laid my head on. And the day that that dirt told me that I'm yours, it was nothing the devil could ever tell to me again. Because Disney World is his. He set that up. Y'all hear the point I'm making? All these little businesses, storefronts, and corporations and all that shit. He made this shit up. And over 80% of our cultural framework is his. But when we actually know who we are, then we can stand on something. We cannot stand on what is his. There's no power in what is his for us. Y'all hear the point I'm making? There's power for what is ours. We let the European heal us with his medicine. We go to his doctors, and he heals us because we are afraid of death. If you fear death, and you have not conquered death in your own mind, what are you standing on? You are living in a state of complete and absolute fear. You are ultimately insecure. And you're only secure by him and his society and his culture and his customs. So when he comes to secure you, you should put the handcuffs on yourself. Because you're secured by him anyway. You're not secured by yourself. You're not secure by a natural relationship with nature. You're not secure by the Ogun, the ancestors. You're not secure by anything black. You're secure by Disney World. Do y'all hear the point that I'm making? But when you begin to scale down from all of those false levels of security that keeps him in power, when you get to scale down from social security, you might reach social insecurity, but you'll reach personal security. Right now, we are socially secure. That's why we have social security cards. And if you're socially secure, his sociology can secure you. His social system, what? Can secure you at any moment, can arrest you, can stop you. Why? Because you're secured by his social. His sociology. You've been socialized by him. But when you become antisocial in his society,
how you talk?
He cannot socialize you.
Which he considers to be a disorder.
Come on. He cannot socialize that which is antisocial, nor can he socialize with. Did y'all hear what I just said? He cannot socialize with that which is antisocial. But they tell you should be social. When the police came, I was very antisocial. Whenever I see a European in any position of any authority that they could possibly imagine, I am antisocial. I cannot be socialized into that. I know who and what you are. It's beneath me.
Hell no. Yes, sir.
Do y'all hear what I'm saying? But how did I get to that point? I had to unsocialize. That means all of the customs and the rituals and everything that we think we need. How we need to be respected and accepted by those who are socialized. We want the prisoners to accept us. If we can't go and the prisoners say that what you're doing is good, if a prisoner tell you what you're doing is good, then you're a prisoner as well. So I'm not looking for prisoners to validate what I am doing. Because I know they have been socialized. And if you can become social with your oppressor, you don't hear what I'm saying. You are a what? A slave who have accepted his slavery. How can you become social with your oppressor?
In any way.
In any way. You think you can be social with him there, and when he comes to get you, you're not social with him there? You socialize, baby. Whatever you do is social. But when you become antisocial with him here, you antisocial with him there. If you listen to your white boss at work, the white corporate executive, you might as well listen to him when he comes to the police department as well. You must respect authorities. I don't respect any of their authorities. They have no authority. Now, they may have circumstantial advantage. But all circumstances are subject to change. Circumstantial advantage is not authority. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying? Authority is mental, psychological, inherent within an individual. Circumstantial advantage is not authority. If somebody locked that door, that don't mean they have authority. That means they have the circumstantial advantage of the key to lock me inside of the damn door. You hear the point I'm making? Never did they have authority. They had this circumstantial advantage. And as circumstances offered them advantage, the same circumstance that offered them advantage offered them disadvantage to the wise. Your very advantage could be your disadvantage. You come with a gun, you can be killed with the gun that you came with. You had an advantage and it turned into your disadvantage. Anything you use outside of your conscience can ultimately become a crutch anyway. But my point is that we must become antisocial with our oppressors because we are being socialized into constant oppression. It's antisocial to be walking around today as gods and goddesses. That's antisocial behavior. But you should be antisocial if you're anti that society.
Yes.
If you're anti that socialization, you should be antisocial.
Yeah.
But while you are antisocial, you may be secure. You may be protected. You may be strong. Come on now. While you are antisocial, you can be powerful. Literally. If some people could just master anti-socialization, on the other side of that is freedom. Because we have been socialized into being niggers. Into being Negroes. How did we get that way? How did we get that way? It was socialization. If you want to reverse it, you got to become antisocial. We've been socialized into accepting these limitations called the Europeans' infrastructure and society. We've accepted it by no other way than socialization. We would not have accepted it under any other terms. Do you feel the point I'm making? We wouldn't have accepted it under any other terms. So as a nation, we must develop anti-social behavior with the socialization that leads to oppression. That's empowerment. That's empowerment. And when I say antisocial, I'm not talking about a way that you are acting with people. I'm talking about a behavioral pathology. I'm talking about a way of acting and behaving where your oppressor can identify you as one of his. Do I hear the point I'm making?
Yes,
by very way of your acting. Y'all see what I'm saying? So when I say antisocial, they got you thinking, well, we talking about communication and talking to people. That's the only one dimension of socialization. Antisocial means that we cannot socialize with you by your behaviors, customs, traditions, and rituals. We cannot identify or relate to any way where we can become social with you. White boy come and say, you seen the game? No. What you think about the president? Nothing. It's antisocial. What you think about Nat Turner? Come on. So now we've become antisocial, not only with Europeans, but with Uncle Tom Negroes that can't do nothing but constantly talk about white supremacy. And constantly getting into that. We look pretty antisocial to them. What you think about Barack Obama? I think it's the black man's time to rule completely, independently, and self-sufficiently. Okay, I'll see you later. It's antisocial because if it was social to do this, everybody would be doing it. And if you're doing what everybody's doing, you're constantly leading to where everybody is going. So nothing is changing. So revolution is antisocial behavior. Do I hear the point that I'm making? Because if it's social, then it's part of everything that society is doing. You're going right along with everything. A lot of people say you're a noble. They speak bad of you. A lot of people don't have nothing good to say about you. I said, you know,